Oh, you can start this next one without me. I'll be back in a bit, probably like a game or two.
Alright. Depends on how fast these games go. Because you never know. Alright, in the bottom left corner of Optimizer, of the final Group E of the RSL Tolerable tier, it is Fabulous playing as the yellow Protoss tribe. In the top right corner, we have Orting, or Oliver, playing as the steel gray Terran squad. As usual, we're just going to speed up the first few minutes of the game, and we're going to see how these players approach playing on this kind of map. Everything looks pretty standard so far. Fabulous sent out a pretty early scout, scouting on Pylon, and checks the top left. He probably was going to scout Orting next. Orting's just going Supply Depot, Barracks, and then this guy is going to go out and scout. Probe will see that, and then look up here and see what Orting is doing. And we'll see what their decisions are going to be for the next bit of the game. Fabulous throws down a Zealot and a Cybernetic score, so looks pretty standard so far. Orting gets a Marine, so won't be surprised to see a bunker and command center go down at some point. There's the factory. There's only, looks like one SCV on gas, so this is going to be a faster expand with the command center down. Oh, but the early Zealot is going to come up, and Orting kind of doesn't really have the SimCity to fight this. Marine can't run between the barracks and the gas geyser, but the Zealot can get stuck on the barracks. Probably going to start pressuring the SCV at the factory, as the Zealot is going to take out that Marine who was stuck from the supply depot. Zealot gets an SCV kill, and now that the Vultures are going to start coming out, the Zealot probably won't be able to get much more done. Oh, but does get one more SCV. He's paid for himself in minerals. And if he can just get another Marine, he's going to probably try to run out, and then the Dragoon is going to come up and try and help him fight. But the Vulture should probably kill him before he meets up with the Dragoon. But Orting has been delayed just a little bit. Oh, hold on. So he is going for a machine shop. So this actually, is this a push? Ah, okay. Yep, he's building more Marines. And is just going to try and micro this Dragoon to stifle this push as much as possible. With two Dragoons out and Dragoon range just about finished, I would not be surprised to see this work. Or to see like a lot of serious damage be dealt to Orting here. One SCV goes down, so he has to bring another up to help fight. And now Fabulous kind of can just start microing, ranges upgraded. That's a very badly damaged Vulture. It goes down, now he's building a tank and Spider Mine, so he's not going to have those 3 mines to help. He has to pull a lot of SCVs to try and help fight these Dragoons. Back home, Fabulous is just expanding and building more Dragoons to come up and help this push. Or help this pressure, really. I mean, this isn't even really a dedicated push. This is just, I just had these Dragoons lying around. Now that the tank's out, it becomes a lot more dangerous for them, and he really needs to get that, like, that higher Dragoon count so he can kill the tank in a couple of volleys. Orting is now expanding, so this SCV will probably be making a bunker here pretty soon. He's making a lot of Marines. I think he just really wants to get some kind of push together. I'd like to see these Dragoons dive on the tank. But, they can, but they're just... Yeah, Fabulous seems to, I think, just is doing basic hold position micro, and they're auto-targeting down Marines. It is working, though. I mean, the Marines are getting picked off. shot by shot. With the third Dragoon coming up in here, there really isn't a whole lot to replace it. The Vulture will lay down some spider mines, but it gets picked off before it has the chance. Marines are fully down. That means that this bunker will not have anybody to man it, and now orting is going to not be able to expand here. He's going to have his command center denied, and the Dragoons could just walk up into the map, but orting is going to leave the game. That's going to be game number 1, going to Fabulous. Nice. It's a good game. That is the fate of games on Optimizer. Sometimes things just go really wrong. Next in our list is going to be H. Raoul versus orting again, I think. We're just gonna hop on in, man. I feel good. We're just gonna cast through these. It's gonna be a Terran versus Terran with on Polypoid with H. Raoul playing the sort of slate gray Terran squad in the bottom right, and orting playing the UED command in the top left with the green Terran. So yeah, it's TVT. I'm just gonna head out. I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. I'm just kidding. Of course, we're gonna actually cast the game, but for the first few minutes, we are gonna speed it up. We might even split the first 5 minutes because it's TVT. Not a lot to talk about, at least early on. The builds are looking symmetrical. And Polypoid is one of those maps where you can kind of pretty evenly divide, splitting the map in two. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the game go into like long tank position pushes and all that. Both players have, again, very similar build orders, so neither of them are going for a fast command center or anything that looks too cheesy. So both players just have come into this one to get standard play. Orting has 2 Marines out, while Raoul only has the 1, before he lifts his barracks off and sends it across the map. Both players are building a Vulture right away out of their factory, so no machine shops for siege tanks here. Okay. Orting clears off a scouting SCV, and because their Orting's SCV is not in Raoul's base, there's nothing there to kill. Alright, there we go. Orting is going for 2 more factories. What does it say? 2 factories. That Oliver is going for 2 factories, and the machine shop. Orting has just gone for the machine shop on a 2nd factory. Orting going for Vulture speed, while Raoul will see what upgrade he wants to go first. Probably also Vulture speed. If you're making a bunch of Vultures and your opponent's making a bunch of Vultures, and one has speed and the other doesn't, it's very easy to just instantly lose that. However, the Vulture count for Raoul is looking a lot better than for orting. Right now it's currently 6 to... Oh, never mind, it's 6 to 6. I just can't. They were probably just sitting in the main for a while. Orting is now starting Spider Mine, and is just constantly going Vulture, so it looks like they're all going. They're both just are saying, you know what, 3-fact Vulture, that's where we want to be at, that's where this game is going to go. Raul is going to try to push out, and I mean, if they're both going heavy vultures, the Spider-Mine research from orting isn't going to do a whole lot except for scout and spot for opponents. Orting has 2 Marines on barracks duty. We're going to see how Raul approaches this base once the barracks kind of floats over here and sees all the vultures from orting. He's just rallying them over, so definitely okay. Big fight. It looks like orting had a better concave. He's pulling SCVs down the fight, and Raul's gonna have to run away. But orting takes up the high ground, gets a couple of good volleys there. But orting now has a siege tank out, and that will do huge damage to the vultures. Tries to get in there. The vultures just don't trade well, and with that siege tank taking massive shots at him. Raul was hemorrhaging vultures in that situation. And especially once orting gets his siege mode upgraded, he can just park a tank right up here and pretty much be entirely safe from that. Raul is starting to plant these spider mines, which again, in huge vulture fights is probably the best you can look for. And also going up a factory and getting another machine shop, saying, okay, we're going to drag this out into a later mech game. I wanted to try and turn this into something speedy with vultures, but we're going to drag this out. And orting saying, you know, okay, I agree with that. I'm going to get an armory, get at the academy. Let me see this probably transition into a turbulent type of game. And those Marines are they're really trying. Barracks landed doesn't really. I want to see a Marine come out of that so bad. I mean, it's on fire, so it's probably harder to see that it's building something. So could you imagine that he's rallying vultures across the map and then a Marine just pops out? But anyways, supplies are really close, but favor orting quite a bit. Yeah, if you catch this sort of run out of vultures, looks like the numbers of orting are just overwhelming. Riders, scout vultures, they're all going to get tripped up on each other. They're just going to get out of there. He is, I suppose that probably wasn't favor him. I guess an important thing to note is that because Raul has his armory up a bit faster, he's going to start getting +1, and that is huge. And orting tries to do a run by, lays some mines on some siege tanks. It does 1 or 2 do go off, massive damage. These tanks are going to have to get repaired before they're able to do anything. Okay, there is Raul's armory. Okay, so Raul's armory actually is getting the upgrade before orting's. Orting is getting Charon boosters, which I'm not entirely. I mean, he hasn't seen any starports, so I don't necessarily see how that's going to help him in this upcoming fight. But that is a lot of spider mines. 3 tanks go down to the spider mine land minefield. That's huge. Like orting's tank count is basically reset. Now I can start running mines. Okay, I guess these guys don't have any mines in them. Yeah, they're just some no-mine vultures, and then Raul sets up a siege. That's on base and GG's. Very proud of Terran players. Played that very well. It was very interesting. I think orting going for the Goliath siege tank route, I think that might have not been the best idea. With your opponent going like with mass spider mines and having the whole thing laid out. But I don't play Terran, so no one should listen to me for advice on how to play Terran. I think that was a pretty good game though. And now Raul is up 1 in our Group E matches, meaning that it is now Fabulous and Raul who are up. Next in our map is going to be Lena's hat. Okay. That's my bet. It is Lena is Hot versus Orting for a Protoss versus Terran on Optimizer. That's great. That's great to hear. I love Optimizer games. They are something special. It's time to see how this PvP.
Oh, rip. Too late.
Rip.
I entered the password and then he already started.
Oh,
I guess
unfortunate.
stuck with the stream.
Here, it just started, so you can just remake it real quick.
Well, you don't have to.
Nah, I'm already remaking it. It's fine.
Have the past few games been on Optimizer?
The first one for this group was. So that was pretty cool.
I think in the regular season, we didn't see Optimizer once, like, as far as I know.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
every single nobody wanted to play on it.
Everyone was just like, no, we're not playing on it. Alright. Do you want to introduce our players, starting with the top right?
Alright. In the top right corner, sporting the brown trunks, it's the Protoss. Lana is Hot. And in the bottom left corner, it is the Terran player. In the dark blue, it's Orton.
Alright. And now we'll speed up the game for the first couple minutes. Alright.
You saying you don't want to watch these workers mine for the first few minutes?
I mean, it can be very intense sometimes. Seeing worker mine. I highly doubt any intense strategic decisions will be made here.
Nah, all of the IQ is going into this.
It looks like
Right now.
is going to go 12 next. So, there is some great IQ, and it looks like Orting is going to scout it first. So,
You think he'll just go like 2-fact or something when he sees this?
I mean, if I were him, I'd just start building a fucking bunker, right? Because what is the vision of a Nexus? Yeah, you just start building a bunker like on this little white patch of snow, and go, okay, good game, goodbye.
You just show up with a bunch of Marines.
Yeah, we probably will go some variation of 2-factory. I mean, he's killed the scouting probe. He's getting a factory up. I mean, I feel
No,
like
it turns out he's not. He's taking off gas.
so. I mean, there's.
Well, I said that, but then he actually is going 2-fact.
Yeah. I mean, that's correct, right? Like, just do a big old push.
Yeah.
So, this should be, I mean, 12 Nix is super, like, risky in that sense. Sometimes you get first scouted and your opponent says, okay, I'll just go 2-fac. Have a bunch of, like, tanks and vultures and kill you. Yeah,
I just push
okay,
across
he
the
has,
map with like Marines, 3 SCVs.
okay, so he's
4
planted
even.
SCVs to build the bunker. However, I mean, I feel like you should have done this like a couple minutes ago, because now that the Dragoon's out, it's like, how are you gonna get the bunker built?
Here come the probes.
The probes.
And it's not actually going to do that much.
Yeah, I mean, the Dragoon almost dies, but he loses 3 SCVs to this, and
Oh, the SDV got the finishing blow.
what a hero, what a Chad. Yeah, I mean, when the Dragoons just come out and they're gonna kill the villagers, and that was a really rough push. I mean, it's like an anti-timing, right? Because he doesn't attack fast enough to hit before the Dragoons are out, and he doesn't attack slow enough for him to have the mech backbone of the 2-fact. So like, you know, the Marine and the tank are just gonna like come in, but now Lana is just making 2 Dragoons at a time and can just kind of aim it across the map.
He's finally getting,
tanks do a lot of damage, so.
No, that tank, no, it's gonna die.
Yep.
That must have been our rally.
Well, I mean, it was actually on attack. Good attack.
Oh. Well.
Vulture's laying out mines now. It's a good mine hit. But he doesn't have siege mode, I don't think. He doesn't have a bunker at his base, so. Oh, the Vulture just wanders into the.
This is not it.
Nope. Alright, I mean, Vulture gets 3 pro kills.
He's still not even starting any upgrades, like not speed or siege.
Oh, Lana, 2 Dragoons run right into a spider mine and get killed. And a Dragoon runs into a spider mine to kill the Vulture. It'd be like that sometimes. Yeah, okay, siege has just started, but yeah, he doesn't have a bunker to help like block the Dragoons out of his base. He doesn't really have. I mean, he's down 10 workers, and that's just the power of the unpunished 12 necks.
Yeah, it feels like he kind of mishandled it. Like, at this point, he would have been just better off like not going too fact and just getting a quicker CC, because now he's just really behind.
Like, I feel like if he had attacked when he had like. If he attacked a minute earlier or a minute later, it would have been a really good, he'd be in a really good position, but he attacked at like the exact perfect moment where it was like, okay, this isn't actually going to work.
Yeah.
Because now Protoss, with its advanced mining abilities, is just able to go down every tech tree at once. It has like Robo, it has, it's getting the Templar tech.
Victoria. There's 3 gates. I wonder if he's gonna start charge. I don't care if it's not called that, it's charge.
Wow. I mean, once the Zealots get the ability, it does look like they're just constantly yelling charge, so it kind of does fit.
I mean, what is the ability technically actually called?
Well, if he ever starts researching it, I will tell you. I'm pretty sure it's like cybernetic enhancements or something.
See, charge sounds way better, and nobody ever calls it that. They just call it zealot legs, or like zealot.
I was about to say, well, the true actual best name is zealot legs. So, give me 1 second.
Listen, I play StarCraft too, and ain't nobody saying cybernetic enhancements, and charge just has a better ring to it, so. And they basically just charge forward. It's basically charge.
Okay, did I miss anything big?
Not really.
Okay. Oh man, the replay doesn't have the tooltips for the Zealot leg upgrade. It doesn't, it just has the box.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think it is just like cybernetic leg enhancements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They basically get steroids. I don't know.
I mean, basically. They graduate from being high school football players to college football players. Or from college football players to NFL players.
Yeah. Well, he's getting a 3rd base, and he's getting the upgrade, but he doesn't have a lot of zealots at the moment. There's like 3, 2. Yeah.
I mean, how many Dragoons does he have? 11? Yeah, I think
Yeah, well, 11, yeah.
He needs like about twice as many of that before he's
And then
able to...
there's 3 at home.
Okay, and he is producing Dragoons, so I was gonna say he needs to like get like twice as many Dragoons as he has right now before he starts like really looking at Zealot stuff, but he's probably in a good position regardless.
Well, in that case, doesn't that mean he could have just started his Citadel later?
True. But
Oh, and he's finally mined out the back of the back door.
right, which means
So
that,
he can like send Dragoons across and start harassing that mineral line.
oh, that's really...
Well, actually,
and Orting has
they're
actually
both
opened
mined
up his
out.
own back door, so we're gonna see some interesting unit movement coming from this back here. I mean, Lana is getting a... Oh, it looks like Lana's trying to expand that way, but... I mean,
But
Orting's
the barrack
base-
spots it.
Yeah, that
He
seems like
knows.
a really unsafe area for that.
You know what's funny is we finally got to see this used in an RSL game. The area back here, an optimizer.
Yeah. I mean, and Orting is sending his little mech army down here, and it's gonna... I guess he can just siege up.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight area.
Can siege tanks from, like, that ledge that they're at right now, could they fire on, like, the center island?
They, probably. Like, maybe?
Yeah, the Dragoons are gonna try to ambush down here, but that's a lot of tanks, and even unsieged tanks do a lot of damage. So I think Lon is gonna lose most of his army to this. Orting is even...
Oh, now the Terran. You can just push through the like this extremely tight area here.
Yeah, I mean, even if you set up the tanks on the like pseudo low ground here, I don't think that they'll have a mischance on where the Dragoons
Yeah,
are.
I think if there's like the short cliff, there's no mischance, but it's just
It's just division.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean the Dragoons are running up. Okay.
If only those were zealots
I know.
instead of dragoons. There are zealots, but they're like they're kind of like a bit late to the party.
Yeah, but they should, if there aren't vulture reinforcements, they should...
Yeah, they're gonna clean them up.
this And the Spire Mines finish them off. Oh, and some backdoor DTs. Orting does have a missile turret set up there, though, so the backdoor DTs probably won't do as much as Lana is hoping for here.
Plus, he's got the science vessel.
Mm-hmm. And Lana says, you know what, I don't need that island base, I'm just going to expand at the top. And these bases kind of are just like one base, right? Because you're only really defending one huge area. So,
Kind of.
Kind of. I mean, it's really easy to transfer the probes.
And then Orting is taking his third at the bottom.
So the Zealots and Dark Templar try to dive on the Terran, and kind of just get picked off.
This one vulture gonna slowly kill this pylon.
Yep, so does 6 damage per shot. Don't worry,
It'll get there eventually.
A dropship coming around.
Drop coming
and
out.
2 siege tanks. So, depending on
Wait,
where...
can they be dropped on that ledge that's like below the...
the one...
I know it's not gonna be important and it's not gonna be dropped there,
oh
but...
my god. They can
Oh,
be
what?
dropped on a ledge, though.
I never noticed this spot on Optimizer this entire time. I didn't know this existed.
Insane. And you can turn around and start hitting gateways too. Yeah, the Dragoons are trying to come out. Like, how does... Like, you can leave a Dragoon and try and start shooting at it, but like... Oh my god. We need to see this more in RSL. I want to see 2 dropships with like 3 tanks and 4 SCVs like unload here and just like make it impossible for the Protoss to get out. The tank dies and it takes a lone Ursidon with it. This High Templar is a monster. Did Lana get hallucinations?
Did he?
I think I literally just caught like a hallucination dying, and that's the like. I've never seen like a hallucination in an RSL or CPL game, but it looked like the. I thought I caught like the very last bit of like the death animation of a hallucination. Huh.
He's gonna attack into the third.
Looks like he's gonna be doing a lot of damage to the storm.
Oh, the storm. And there go the SCVs.
Yeah. It says 5 kills, but I mean, you have the Dragoon and Zealots that
Yeah, he just gives up.
a GG amount of SCVs. That is a little surprising, but I wasn't.
Well, he was also way behind on army too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't look at. I haven't looked at the. Didn't look at the supply for a little bit, so yeah. It's GG. So Lana takes up that game. I think. Unfortunately, that orting has. Was that? Yeah, it was 3 orting games, and orting lost all of them. So that is unfortunate for them.
He got orted.
He got orted. Our next match is going to be Lana is Hot versus H something Raoul. And that replays up. It's going to be Protoss versus Terran on Polypoid. The usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have there been a lot of TVPs compared to, like, the rest of the other?
It's felt like there's been a lot of TVPs. I'm not sure.
Because I know there's, at least in the bracket for the regular group, I think it's mostly TVP.
Well then, yeah. I think there were a couple of Zergs in this game, but I'm not... Or I know a fair number of Zergs have advanced, but not actually sure what the actual breakdown is. Alright, in the top right corner of Polypoid, we have the brown Protoss player. Lana is hot.
Lana! No.
Lana! And they are going to bring H. Raoul into the danger zone.
Danger zone.
Dude, I like for the longest time, for some reason, I thought their name was lanaishot, and I spent like the first time I did an RSL cast, I spent the entire fucking round saying, "Oh yes, lanaishot." It's like no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I originally managed to read it as Lana is shot, even though there's no extra S.
I mean, it's just one of those like names where it's just like, what does it say actually though?
What does it really say about the meaning of life and Protoss players in general?
True. What does it say about Protoss players?
I don't know. I guess that's up to your interpretation.
Welp, this has been the most standard opening of a PvT I think we've seen so far. There's like nothing going on here. Like it was just straight like, okay, we're going straight into Dragoons. We're getting Dragoon range. No Zealot pressure. We're not being a sneaky aggro toss. And H. Raoul is like, I respect that. I'm not going to fac you. I'm going to do the factory expand. It's like they had the gentleman's agreement to just play super standard.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Dragoons are gonna... Oh. They kill Raoul's scouting SCV, and Raoul is saying, you know what, I must take revenge. 4 Marines and a tank go across the map.
This is like half of a 10-10 right there.
Yeah.
Another tank on the way, siege on the way. A few Dragoons about to waddle back across the map.
Maybe try to take some shots at the bunker.
There's SCV coming back in to try and scout.
It should be able to get it. It has a full 60 HP, and Lana manages to successfully micro and cancel 3 Dragoon shots, which is, you play Terran, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Dragoons are the worst fucking unit, because sometimes you'll try to micro them to shoot something, and as you're microing, they're already going to shoot it, and if you micro it wrong, the Dragoon will just be like, get halfway through the attack animation, and then decide, no, I don't think I will, and not attack.
I don't feel like it at the moment.
Yeah. It's like, please, Dragoon, I'm just trying to hold position micro so you can kill this SCV, and it's just like, no. I don't think so.
Not today, tomorrow.
Yeah. Probe moving out across the map to probably build Lana's 3rd base. And everyone's just chilling.
3rd going up. Wait, did you already say that? Like,
yes, I said the pro was going out to make the 3rd base.
Well, we're saying it again.
It's very important. If this 3rd base gets up, that means it's the end for H. Raoul. Lana's gonna...
He'll never know what hit him.
He'll never know. He'll be like, oh, Lana was on 2 bases, but he was on 3 bases. Raoul's doing 15 million calculations in his head in a single second, but he's not accounting for the 3rd base factorial.
Alright, he's got 3 factories up. Does he have an armory?
He don't think so. Yeah, it doesn't look like he does.
Because he's got 5 factories. It looks like he's going 6 facts, but normally you would get +1. And at least I think he's going 6 fact. There's only 5 so far.
Oh, he scans the mineral only looking for the base, and I think... Oh, he does see the probe transfer, though. So he should probably know about the 3rd base now. But he knows it's not at the mineral only. No turrets have really been put up in the main, so the observer just kind of gets to look at everything.
Wait. Is that command center placed correctly, or am I tripping?
Yeah, I think the command center is a hex off.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
What the...
Because normally the SCVs would be mining vertically from the gas, right? On this position.
Yeah, they're having to go diagonally. That's... Dang.
Or maybe it's not misplaced. Maybe I am tripping.
I don't...
Because if you look at the nexus on the other side, it's not quite straight. But... And they're in roughly the same opposite position, right?
The side of them... No, I think I think the command center is just one hex to the right too far. That's unfortunate. The armory for Raul is just getting started now, so... Or just finishing now, so...
Well, he's moving out
I
with
mean,
these tanks, but...
Yeah, Lana really only has Dragoons right now, so the siege will be able to pretty much clear that entire line. Zealots with legs are almost ready to fight, but... Raul is just dedicating everything to this pressure. He's even unsieged his, unbunkered his bunker. What's the...
Oh, bunker my bunker.
Oh, bunker my bunker. Send the Marines.
Send bunker.
Send bunker.
Help, send bunker. This
yeah.
fight gonna happen, but there's a lot of mines that are just gonna blow up on some of the tanks probably. Oh, but
you forget,
actually,
siege tanks.
no, there weren't.
And then they're gonna unsiege and be able to pretty much one-shot all the Dragoons that remain. Yeah, that was a really good fight for Raul, and I would go as far as
Looks
say...
like this push is just gonna kill him.
Yeah. Oh, the Dark Templar's coming out. Does he have the...
Or not. Scans? He has the scans, but does he have them hotkeyed? Oh, the mine drag.
The
tanks.
mine drag.
Well, he's also got the mines too, but I feel like these DTs are gonna set off the mines and just like drag him into the army. They're just gonna get so much value.
Okay. The one scan
Let's
has
swipe
gone
that
down,
one to death.
so...
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like... Yeah, Lana, that was kind of... Lana doesn't really have the resources to keep making mine-dragging Dark Templar. So...
I wouldn't even bother with the mines at this point. I'd be too worried about them just dragging into everything, or you just like losing the vultures to all the zealots.
Yeah, like I mean...
I think at this point, you just like...
Oh, but the vultures are gonna get in the main and start picking off.
Rally everything in, yeah.
Laying the mines down.
Oh, and all, yeah, there's a lot of probes dying.
Yeah, that number is going very far down. Looks like Raul established his mineral-only base behind us. How many probes have these vultures killed? One has 11 and one has 2. Crazy. Yeah, so
Crazy, bruh.
Bruh, that's crazy, bruh. Another sort of mine placement. Yeah, I don't think the mines are doing as much work in this like straight fight as Raul is wanting them
I think when the zealots are gone, well, doesn't matter now.
So Lana clears another attack wave, and yeah.
I think he's committing too hard to try and with this push.
Yeah.
Should just leave his stuff at his third.
I think you were right. If he hadn't been like just using up all his mines earlier and just straight up having that fight when Lana didn't have any, was only reinforcing with zealots, it probably would have been a victory for Raul.
Is that +1 on the way?
Yes.
Alright, well, he's got +1 on the way.
Yeah. And that's mech +1. It's like a regular +1, but fancier.
Yes.
Okay, the vultures just
These SCVs blocking the units.
as is their role in life. The vulture run by is gonna dive all the way into the main units and start just clearing even more players. Oh, he might even be able to get some talent before he goes at it. Yep.
Yep, got it. No leave, flee. Oh, he's going into the main again.
Gets another High Templar.
Another High Templar.
Go for the probes. Oh. That did decent damage. I mean, killing High Templar is always good for pretty much every place that isn't Protoss. Alright, Lana's now moving their whole forces across the map, wanting to take the fight over to Raoul. But they're a little bit split up. They might be trying to, like, pincer the mineral only, but
yeah,
Raoul's forces are spread out enough that I don't think that's going to work too well.
Oh, he's finally getting it uncongested from the natural.
Yeah.
Although those tanks, where are those tanks going?
Oh no.
They're heading into the danger zone.
Don't do it.
Oh, you know what? The funny thing is the vultures pulled them to the left, so the tanks kind of just, like, get away. Scot-free. And they're just, like, continuing to move to the top right.
Tanks. They're just like, yes. Finally, we're free.
Highway to the danger zone.
Oh my god, and the Zealots and the Dragoons are just gonna ignore them because the vultures are getting into them.
And then the tanks decided, actually, you know what, it's kind of dangerous, let's kind of leave. And then it's like one tank went back the wrong way.
Lana's getting a hidden nexus in the bottom. So.
There's more vultures coming out, but they're gonna run headfirst into the army.
Yep. I mean, maybe if they're lucky, they can lay some mines down and pick off the High Templar. Or get stormed.
I think he's got 2-1 on the way now.
Oh, okay, so that's gonna be really the breaking point, right? 2-1 is when mech starts getting, like, out of control and how good they are. Raoul, I think he doesn't know about the third base. Because there's only okay, there's some scans going off, so I'm gonna see where he's actually...
Maybe he does, but the third base has, like, a bunch of cannons at it. And you know what the natural doesn't have? Cannons at it.
Ooh, but the natural is the main
Where the
base.
army is?
Yeah. I mean, vultures, especially vultures that have been at least a little bit upgraded versus cannons, isn't as so one-sided. Meanwhile, Lana is just now finishing their Arbiter Tribunal, which means that we might see some recalls.
Oh, you know what? These vultures are gonna catch these transferred probes.
Okay. So, I mean...
Although, I'm not sure...
microed on them, so...
I felt like they were being transferred from, like, the third base to, like, the bottom right, which seems a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, Raoul, like, he caught the probes and he didn't micro around the probes, so he should be able to tell that there's the base down here. He should also, like, tee him off if there's a base in the top leftish area as well. He even scans the top left main. Lana is making an Arbiter and researching Recall, which, if you're a Protoss player watching this, don't do that. Research Stasis first, because in the time that it takes for the Tribunal to research Recall and Stasis is the same time as it takes for the Arbiter to be made and to actually get enough energy for a recall. So if you get a recall first, you miss out on the Arbiter maybe being able to cast Stasis. Some minor hot tip.
Hot tip of the day.
Hot tip of the day. Send your fleet of observers right into the Terran's 4th base.
How many were there? Like 6?
Yeah. But I mean, he's gonna get Zealots up in here because it's undefended and probably denied.
And Storm on the ramp. Those tanks. Oh.
You're just trying to fight up that way. Oh, he has some siege tanks on the low ground and it's choking the rest of the army from being able to come up and repair stuff. Honestly, trying to target down the command center, but the SCVs are repairing. Probably wouldn't bother to try and target the SCVs once they start repairing. Raul's gonna clean this up, and he actually doesn't lose a ton.
Oh shit! There's a tank harassment in the bottom right.
Yo, okay, there we go. Yeah, and because Lena committed so much army to try to clear the 9 o'clock, he just gets to kind of sit there. And because the pylons are set up like that, the majority of the Dragoons won't be able to, we'll have one Zealot.
The Zealot can, though.
Yeah, but they'll probably... Well, the Zealot will think about it for a second.
He's like,
you know
do
what?
I want to approach these tanks, or should I watch the Nexus die?
Yeah. I never liked that.
After getting hit in the face with a tank shot, he's like, alright, now it's time to go.
Yep, time to... This is my calling. A fight goes on where Lana tried to break the mineral only, and it looks like they were repelled. And yeah. Well, Arbiters are now out, which means that recall is soon to come. We just have to wait about maybe like 40 seconds for the energy to get up there. I mean, the big problem is that there really isn't an army for Lana to recall anywhere. Terran's about to be on 3-2 with their upgrades.
For the Protoss upgrades, apparently still...
Oh shit.
To, like, 0-2. Or 2-0, whatever the order technically is, but it's like 2 attack upgrades and no armor. Or...
let's see, what does the Protoss have? Yep, 2 attack upgrades and no armor. So, the Protoss army will get absolutely melted by this concentrated Terran mech.
Yeah, you just,
yeah. I mean, a max.
How do the upgrade interactions work in this game? Like, how important is it for Protoss to get armor?
I mean, it's... Protoss, you usually upgrade all your damage before armor because your units are pretty beefy anyways, but you still need to get it because it gives, especially like Terran siege tank upgrades, like just mech upgrades in general, add so much damage to their units that you like need every little bit of help that you can in surviving against them.
Right.
Yeah, like every upgrade gives a vulture, or gives a siege tank plus 5 damage in siege mode, and gives the vulture plus 2 damage, which adds up. So you have a really good storm on the tanks. We're gonna need some. Okay, another really good storm. Double stormed over there. Timed just a little bit too late to catch all of the tanks.
Mower storms.
Yeah, I mean, Lana's getting off some really good storms,
but supply-wise, the Terran just took the better trade. Because, like, when they started that fight, it was 200 versus 200, and, like, the end of the fight, well, you can see the supply now. It's like, it's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, and both of the Protos's arbiters, like, again, this is why you upgrade the stasis before recall, because if you had had 2 really good stasises during that fight, that probably could have easily been a Protoss victory, especially with how well some of those storms went off.
And like how grouped up some of the siege tanks were.
Now we're
And
in
now
the
the
same situation.
Terran marches in.
Same situation from earlier, except now the Terran has like 4 bases, has a lot of macro. The Protoss is running out of minerals, even though they have, I guess, 2 mining bases, but, you know, there's now 4 siege tanks outside the main, fully upgraded, close to it.
Well, 3-2, but it's close to full.
So Lana GG's, and Raul takes the game. Those storms were great, but needed backup or going back with the gas units. Yeah, towards the end of the fight, I think Lana was just like sending the High Templar in by themselves on like suicide missions to storm. That's not very good. That's rough when you're doing that. All right, and I think so we somehow are on the last replay that I have for this group, and if I remember right, someone messaged me and said that someone like dropped after their games. So yeah. Our current standings, I think, are Fabulous, whose alternate name is apparently ReganTheWhale, so this is one of their games. They have 1 win. Raul has... How many wins does Raul have? Hold on, let me check. What have we watched so far? I'm very confused.
Tear down this net. Tear it down.
Tear down this net. Yeah, Orting lost all their games, so Raul has 2 wins so far. And then Lana has their 1 win versus Orting. So yeah, the next match is Lana versus Fabulous or Reagan. And that video that is now up.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, are you just doing the regular season matches, or I mean the group stage matches, or are you also doing any of the first round matches for the brackets, or is that like next week or whenever?
Yeah, next week I'm probably gonna do all the regular RSL first round or first set of best of 5s, and then the week after that do the tolerable tier 1. Although, I mean, the games probably are gonna get a lot shorter because it's gonna go from like 6 games per group to only like 5 max. So we'll see how it ends up going. I mean, if there's a lot of really fast games, they might end up getting combined together, but we'll see.
I mean, it's at minimum 3 games, and there's like 8 matches.
It's true.
So that would be at minimum 24 games.
Huh.
Which is, and that's for one, that's just for 1 tier.
Yeah, well, then I guess, yeah, it will just come down to how fast the games are. So
I mean, 2 of the regular season games already are best of 5s, though.
Oh boy, then. Oh boy. We're gonna be there. Next week is gonna be a long one, but for this week.
Well, you know what I meant. they're all best of 5s, but they went to game 5 is
Right.
what I meant.
Right. So if that keeps up, next week's gonna be long if everyone goes best of 5s or goes to 5. In this game
Yeah.
we have Oregano playing the gray Protoss in the top right corner, also known as Fabulous, also known as ReganTheWhale.
Tear down this net, Mr. Gorbachev.
And in the bottom left, we have Lana is hot, playing brown Protoss, getting Manor Pylon. My god.
I mean,
Tear down this pylon.
Oregano is tear down. I mean, he's the one building it up.
And Lana is going for a Forge Fast Expand in PvP. So, definitely an... Well, this is a weird game already. a PvP Forge Fast Expand getting Manor Pylon. I mean, maybe there will be a gas steal next.
Honestly, he could have stole the gas ages ago if he wanted.
Yeah.
But he chose not to.
He might be trying to go
He just goes for the second Manor Pylon.
Yo, whoa,
Oh,
how did that pylon glitch out from under the manor? What? It's...
Like, imagine if he, you know the Artosis clip where he off-races his Protoss and then he gets like 4 pylons in his like mineral line and can't mine?
They do this to each other.
Like, imagine if like that's how this game ended. Like,
I mean, this game, it has very much, it kind of has the same energy that the game of me and Swag played has. Where it is like peak, they do this to each other energy. And the Zealot managed to sneak all the way back to start hitting the Nexus. That is actually impressive.
oh, well, the cannon shoots him away though.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the Zealot should have just maybe tried to loop around and jumped up the ramp, but you know what? Oregano needs to build a pylon outside of the natural and then build like a shield battery or a cannon rush right outside here. Okay, so Oregano's own 2 Zealots try to get past the cannon walls but are unable to, and the 1 Zealot is getting absolutely
Annihilated.
dude.
And then another one just tries to run in, but to no avail.
Is very tactically unsound of these very brave, yet very stupid Zealots.
Seems like Lana's just gonna get away with this like fast Nexus unpunished, and he's just gonna wind up ahead.
I mean, yeah, it looks like Oregano won't be able to actually like even try to push you until they get up to Reavers, but like they'll have like faster tech, but again, like they kind of have to go Reavers if they want to be aggressive. They can't really get into Templar tech and try to push this right now. Or they build 2 Stargates and go mass scouts. Oh, actually, no. I actually really like this play that Regan is actually going for, where they're saying, okay, you built 3 cannons at your natural, I'll just get a 3rd base for free? And this will probably...
Yeah, you just gotta catch up for all the, for the late natural Nexus, I guess.
I mean, yeah, he's 7 probes behind. And he should be able to start catching up now that his own natural is built, but yeah, Lana's economy is going to get pretty out of hand here compared to Regan.
He's got the Citadel on the way. He's got another gate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Regan's kind of given up on his chance to like catch ahead in tech, or to get ahead of Lana in tech, and is just really going, yeah, I'm gonna just get 3 bases and play like gateway man. Oh, I like the little zealot at the third base to prevent Lana from getting it easily. Alright, another problem that Lana might run into is Lana seems to be... Okay, I was about to say Lana seems comfortable at their probe count, but they've started it back up again. But Oregano has caught up. They're both getting +1 at about the same time, and Oregano is going into...
I think this zealot's gonna see the third.
Oh yeah, and there's no cannons up to try and defend this, so it's probably gonna get 1 or 2 probes dead before they're able to get pulled. Or he'll just stand there menacingly.
And then the probes are like, okay, well, if you're just gonna stand there, we're just gonna go back to work. So
This is the same zealot that just watched the tanks kill its nexus. He doesn't actually have side blades, he just has 2 bags of popcorn. He's just like, what's going on over here, guys? Wow, a third base. Whoa, that's crazy. Okay,
mind if I sit here and watch?
Yeah, Lana's pushing out with a lot of speed zealots and only 1 dragoon, and I mean, okay,
Like
so
the probes call security.
yeah. Dragoons usually beat zealots, but speed zealots are really scary because it really comes down to micro and who kind of blinks first, right? Because the zealots can get a surround and absolutely tear through dragoons. Yeah, this might be just a straight up win for Lana here. I mean, well, at the very least, they destroy a lot of these photon cannons. The probes are having a fight. They're doing a great job of blocking. Okay, no, Lana dealt, actually, Oregano dealt with that really well.
Started storm.
Okay.
Lana did.
Okay. Oregano has the Robo Bay, but he hasn't gotten anything to go with it yet. I mean, Lana is a lot healthier gateway count. I mean, yeah, they have, I think, actually over... Okay, no, they're gonna have exactly double the gateways that Oregano has. Like, PvP economies can be so misleading, because sometimes I'll have, like, like, I'll be in this position that Regan is in, and I'll be like, okay, I have 3 gateways, I'm spending my resources, like, a little bit slow, but it doesn't feel too bad, and then I'm like, okay, I'll get some tech and stuff to spend my resources, and it's like, no, I should have, like, twice as many, triple the gateways that I actually have.
Alright, 10 zealots versus 4 cannons.
It's the zealots. Zealots, PvP, zealots are like, once they have speed, they're like slightly angrier Zerglings with cannons.
I see.
It's crazy. Oh man, yeah, and they're just gonna tear through these dragoons because there aren't any zealots to body block and help the dragoons take damage. Oh, so miss micro, the zealots turn on their own, kill their own. That happens.
Not only that, it's like a few dragoons that are just like hiding in a corner. They're like, nah, I've seen this movie, I don't like how it ends.
Yeah. I mean, he lost a lot of cannons. I think he pulled the probes in time before any crazy, serious damage was done, but now, like, there's High Templar. And now, like,
yeah,
you get storm on the, you can storm on the probes, you can storm on the dragoons, and That's just gonna...
And, like, Oregano is, like, no tech. Like,
Yeah. He's just now getting his Robo support bay, so he's been pure gateway man this whole time.
like
And
the
he hasn't
storms
even
are
had
just
many
gonna
gateways.
rain hellfire on these Dragoons if they ever decide to come back.
Yeah. Atlanta's going to try to push the front with their huge Zealot force. Storm on the Dragoons, forces them to back off. I'm going to see another one to finish them off. Oh, Storm on the probes. Unfortunately, it morphed to Archon, so I'm not sure how many kills they actually got. I think it looked like 3 or 4. Every time Lana goes into like one of these fights, I'm like, oh my god, Lana has so many has a better position, they have better tech, they're probably gonna run this over, and somehow Regan just doesn't take as much damage as like they should, I feel.
Yeah, it is the cannons, I think, that mostly help us. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then there was like the storm was on like the storm didn't hit like a big group of stuff, it just hit like the one Dragoon, right?
I think so, yeah. So, I mean, and even the storming on the probes, it didn't really actually, it wasn't in a good position to hit a lot of probes. It was kind of in the middle of their mining path, so they just moved out.
But they're both gonna move out along the like upper path. They're gonna
Yeah.
clash into each other.
Yeah. And this looks like a numbers win for Lana again, but okay. Storm.
I mean,
comes
this
down.
time there's
That's,
a decent storm.
Yeah.
And
Everyone zones the Dragoons away, and the Speed Zealots just stay on top of them.
the other one zones goons.
Yeah. I mean, Lana really is putting Oregano into the danger zone with these storms.
He's been in the danger zone this whole time.
True. Oh my. Cannon lives with like 1 HP, 3 HP, and... Is that a gateway walling in the... That's the third base? That's an interesting placement. But yeah, Oregano's reinforcements should probably clear this up.
Oh, there's an Archon though.
That Archon's gonna clean up the Zealots, but...
That Archon is gonna make the difference.
It actually really is. I mean...
Well, before it dies the Zealots, I guess. There's a few Zealots in Lana's main.
Oh, Regan has a hidden fourth in the bottom right. That's gonna be huge.
Big if true.
Big if true. Yeah, and it is indeed factual. So,
Or is it? Maybe it was all Haluk.
you know,
You weren't lost.
You weren't lost. That base, it was Haluk. Imagine if you could hallucinate buildings.
Like, you just make a hallucinated probe, and the hallucinated probe can warp in hallucinated buildings that you need detection to see.
Bro. Okay, Lana's gonna try to expand into the top left, and they're already expanding in the bottom right, so you know.
You create an army of hallucinations off of hallucinated gateways and stargates.
Dude. Just send them out there. It's like, how do you have 400 in supplies?
It's like, it was hallucinations.
It was Haluk.
You weren't lost, lol.
Okay, this has to be the push that Lana wins with, right? I mean, they're tearing down the cannons. There's no, like, Dragoons to come and pull the flank. So, yeah. I
definitely think
retreat.
he is lost.
He is indeed lost. These are not Haluk.
It's all real. There's a bunch of DTs, but he's got the observers, so...
Who would win, like 50 KP boys or one like floating eyeball?
I mean, if the it's a draw unless if the floating eyeball has, you know, stuff that comes with it.
Okay, fine. The floating eyeball and his funky bunch.
Well then, it's obviously the floating eyeball and the funky bunch. The funky bunch need the eyeball, and the eyeball need the funky bunch.
It's a what is it? It's a parasitic relationship.
Only if they're doing it because they don't want to do it, but they have to.
I mean, when they're KP boys, you do have to. So.
I mean, it could be a symbiotic relationship, but
That's probably a better word because I couldn't think of it then. The observer's just floating above the army going, Eddie.
I think it's symbiotic. I'm not even sure if I'm using the right word. I think it is.
Sounds right. Yeah, so Lana takes the game against Reagan, and that is actually the last game we have for Group E.
And the last game, period.
Yeah. So that means, hold on, let me actually check. We are missing one game. That is because I believe one player dropped. We are missing, I think, Reagan or Fabulos's third game. But their game versus Raul, but they dropped, so Raul advances with 3 wins, and Lana advances with 2 wins. And that's been the tolerable tier. Took much.
We
not as much
tolerated all of you.
We did.